Bob buddy, what's the hold up? Aren't you getting the drinks? Like, seriously? What's wrong with him? It's like, I sent him to the fridge like 15 minutes ago. I have a review to do. Actually, speaking of the review, I still don't know what happened to Skull's Fedora. It's like, it should be here somewhere, but it's not. It's like I misplaced it. Actually, speaking of things I've misplaced, I can't seem to find my Boken either. Like, seriously, it's part of the set. So is Bob Buddy. Bob Buddy, seriously! I frickin' swear. I have to do the review already. I'm running late. Alright, let's do this. Hello everybody, I'm Zero and welcome back to Zero Reviews. It's time for another top 10, and guess what it's about? Kamen Rider! But instead of looking at the designs of the riders themselves, I'll be taking a look at the tools of their trade, which are the weapons they battle Kaijin with. Now this was a tough one when picking a topic. I still want to be general with Kamen Rider, if only to give a wider variety and not lock it into a certain show for my viewers. I thought about doing it on the belts they use to transform, but that would require going into their powers more than anything else. Not to mention, thanks to a new game I picked up, I may be doing a list like that later on. But let's get back to the weapons. You see, this list is mostly personal preference, but I should explain what I mean by that. Basically, I'm looking for how cool the weapons are, be it in voices, the way they look, and so on. Second, I'm also taking into account what they can do, if they're versatile, and so forth. With that out of the way, let's get on to our list. Now you're probably wondering, but Zero, what do you mean by arms weapons? Well, allow me to explain. In Kamen Rider Gaim, the riders get their abilities from various fruit-shaped devices known as lock seeds. The lock seeds unlock a different form for the rider, and a new weapon at that. So I'm pretty much counting all of the weapons from Kamen Rider Gaim in here, except for 3. The Sonic Arrow, the Muso Saber, and the DJ Gun. But let's not dwell on those 3. Let's begin with why these other weapons start off this list to begin with. They're all very unique, and I enjoy the way that they take existing weapons and then turn them into something resembling fruit. Some of these are more clever than others, like the Swordbringer compared to the Daidai-Moru, or the Melon Defender compared to the Bana Spear. But they're still all fun. The best weapon to me, though, is the Watermelon Gatling Gun, which is a repainted Melon Defender, but with a Gatling Gun attachment at the bottom of it. Overall, these weapons are bright, colorful, and kind of silly, which is why I love them. But they don't do enough on their own to make it past the number 10 spot, which is why they were all grouped together to begin with. The Skull Magnum is an intriguing weapon to you folks at home, because I go from these big weird weapons to this small pistol. It's just its design though, it's got a good mix between old and futuristic going for it. Not to mention, it is able to utilize finishers without the need for a belt, unlike the arms weapons which need the Sengoku driver to power them up. That, and I may have a slight bias because the owner of it is Kamen Rider Skull. Oh my goodness, what's this? Another weapon from Double is on this list? Well, the engine blade is a pretty simplistic weapon when you boil things down, but it's also semi-realistic in the series it's used in. See, when the person who uses it tries to lift it as a human, it is really, really heavy. When they transform into Kamen Rider Axel, the blade is easy to lift and can be swung really easily. I do like it when weapons kind of do that. Not to mention, it has a Gaia memory slot for the engine Gaia memory. The engine Gaia memory allows the engine blade to use powers based on 3 different engines: steam, jet, and electric. The engine blade can also be used with other Gaia memories like the Cyclone Gaia memory for even greater effects. This is why the engine blade makes it this far up on the list. The Dark Visor is probably one of my favorite weapons from Kamen Rider Ryuki because it is used to activate Knight's powers through the Advent cards. Unlike Ryuki, who has a pretty simple wrist gauntlet, Knight has a sword that he can at least use in combat if things get bad at the start. Not to mention, he has a slew of pretty decent cards, though the one that takes the cake is the Dark Visor Sway. While the cards it uses aren't as plentiful or varied as the ones Knight regularly uses, they do give it the number 7 spot on this list. You see, the Dark Visor's Way can assume a shield, sword, and bowgun mode, which makes it the most diverse weapon so far on this list. Sadly, however, limiting a rider's ability to mere cards inhibits this because of how easily it would be just to knock it out of their grip, which is why it only gets this high on the list. We've got a strong contender in the Perfect Zector, so allow me a bit of another explanation for the uninitiated. The Zectors are insect-like devices that's attached to a port on a wristband, belt, gun handle, or sword to transform the owner into a Kamen Rider. The Perfect Zector is able to call on 3 different Zectors: Bee, Drake, and Sword. The reason it's on here is despite it only having a sword and gun mode, it has the option of 10 different finishers. In both modes, it has 1 for when it's by itself, 3 for when each sector is attached individually, and one last one for when they are all combined into the Perfect Zector. Also, the voice. I haven't talked about the voices yet, but I do enjoy the Kabuto voices, which is why this one has an edge over the other ones on the list. The DN driver is essentially a transformation device, but it also is used mainly as a gun and a weapon, so that's why it slides by on this list. Now, the DN driver has a card function like the Dark Visor, however you're probably wondering, the cards are a detracting quality from the Dark Visor on this list. But there is one reason this one slides by and passes the Perfect Zector as well. The main gimmick of this one is that unlike the main rider, Decade, who transforms into Kamen Riders, this one summons copies of them to fight for the user. The user can also summon up to 3 riders as well, so getting teamed up on by 4 riders is a very big chance. The reason this doesn't go any higher though is despite the overwhelming amount of riders it could summon, the attack cards leave a lot to be desired. A lot of them are basic, and if it wasn't for the rider summoning, it would be below the Dark Visor purely because Knight has a few more unique cards than DN does. Thought we were done with Kamen Rider Gaim? Well, that's where you're wrong. It's time to talk about the DJ Gun and Muso Saber respectively before explaining why they're even together on this list. Alright, so the Muso Saber is a katana, but with a gun barrel and a trigger as its makeshift hilt. It's very effective as it can be used as a gun and a sword almost instantly. It is able to combine with the other compatible arms weapons, and it has the ability to use a finisher with any lock seed. Moving on to the DJ gun. Oh man, the DJ gun. This is what I would like to call a dubstep gun, but unfortunately it doesn't fire sound. But by spinning the turntable on the gun, you reload, and it has 3 settings: the low cannon-like bursts, medium shotgun-like blasts, and high machine gun-like firing speeds. But wait, not only is it able to be used with the lock seed it comes from, Kachidoki, but it is also compatible with all the other lock seeds. Now, why are these 2 together on the list? Well, by flipping up a portion of the DJ gun and slotting the Muso Saber in, it can now assume the Taiken mode, a large cleaver-like sword mode that packs a punch and has some neat finishers too. Overall, these 2 work well with each other and on their own, however, there is one cannon weapon I feel is better than the DJ gun. Yep, that's right, I think the trailer cannon is better than the DJ gun. The DJ gun, albeit being cool, it has absolutely nothing to do with Kaim Kachidoki arms. You have this pretty good looking Shogun armored warrior, who's wielding what is essentially an odd weapon to begin with. But that's where the trailer cannon comes in, since it fits perfectly with drive type formula. Type formula is based off an F1 racer, and what do race cars usually travel in? Trailers. So the trailer cannon works well in connecting themes. Not to mention, it has its own shift car reader, which opens up a variety of different attacks. My favorite use of it, however, was in Type Trideron, where Drive inserts one of his form chain shift cars as the main source of power for the finishing move. He then inserts the Type Trideron shift car in to load it up all the way, and then shoots his very own vehicle, the Trideron itself, at the opponent to destroy them. That last part right there is easily what makes the trailer cannon shoot past all the other weapons in this list. You thought you weren't going to see a Kamen Rider Ghost weapon on here?
Isn't that cute? But it's wrong!
The Gun Saber is probably the most versatile rider weapon I've seen in a while. We had the Dengasher, which had about 5 modes, but the thing about that was it was essentially 4 little sticks you put together in different shapes to make these things. The Gun Saber is an actual sword that has 4 different modes from the start just by swapping around the detachable portion of it. It has its regular sword mode, a Naginata mode, a gun mode, and a 2-sword mode. Not only that, but when combining with the various gadgets in Ghost's arsenal, you can transform into different weapons, like a bow and arrow, a rifle, and even a hammer. And here's the thing, they all look like legitimate weapons. Well, the arrow and rifle modes anyway. Not sure what they were thinking with Benkei's hammer mode. Either way, its diversity and the way it complements the other forms it's used with is why the Gun Saber takes the number 2 spot. However, we still have number 1 to talk about, which is actually a tie because these weapons need to go together because they form the perfect pair. They are the Brake Gunner and the Signal Axe, Kamen Rider Chaser's personal weapons. Now you're probably wondering, how do these get past all the other entries? Simple, their functionality is the main part, but what puts the Brake Gunner above everything else is its voice.
Break up, rake, gun, execution.
That voice they got was just amazing. While the mock driver / weapon voice isn't anything to write home about, it's still pretty neat. The Brake Gunner has tons of functionality, as like with the Trailer Hoe, it has the ability to be compatible with shift cars, only the tire chain shift cars, but still, this has led to its user, Chaser and Machine Chaser, using some of these against Drive and the Roid Mutes in the show. Now this works as a transformation device similar to the Ends, a gun that transforms the user. However, this has a melee mode from the start, which puts it above the DN driver. But that compatibility with the shift cars I mentioned, that was just the side function, which alone is pretty amazing. The main function are the viral cores that Chaser uses. By using the Chaser Spider, Cobra, and Bat, he can gain a shield-like claw weapon, a whip-like weapon, and a bowgun-like weapon as armaments. He also later gained the ability to triple tune, which was able to combine all of the armaments together in order to perform a powerful finishing move. And that's not even counting the fact that he'll be getting a new form thanks to the Super Rhino Viral Core. The Signal Axe, on the other hand, well, it's basically a pedestrian crossing signal light in the shape of an axe. And it's so absurd that I love it. What makes it even more insane and absurd is that after initiating the finisher, it tells you to wait. And you have to wait before actually using the thing, and can't use it till it says you can go. I mean, you could use it, but it's funnier the other way. There's a reason I love the weapons in Drive. They just have fun with the vehicle motif in general. When I saw Chaser use this for the first time, and he literally put it down when it told him to wait, I knew I was going to love the Signal Axe. Plus, I feel having these two separate on this list would be a crime, since it's these two having the same owner and being used together that makes me enjoy them so much. Well, that was a nice top 10. I'm Zero, and join me next time for Zero Recommends. I'll be seeing you guys next time. What the?
高い石のあいつが手縫いを塗り替え してどんでんワクワクでキッと睨んだ花街はあでやかに重ねた手のひらに見えた覚悟という名の赤い魂雷鳴照明しじまを切り裂いてさまよう心は叫び出す瞳の奥の誓いの照明燃やせ深く闇に咲いた太陽
Why are you asking for money? Wait, no. It can't be, could it? But first I need to go play some poker, so I'll see you guys after the, intro. I lost everything. This is why you don't play poker. Oh no! Oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, 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 no. Haven't you taken enough from me already? Damn. I really didn't want to have to do this. But it looks like I'm going to have to.